alerted.
We're going to get on the way here. Even if there's just a few of us, I'm sure that there's going to be another 10 or 15 people that show up eventually. So Arthur ran away, but I'm Thomas Garrison for anybody who hasn't been here before, doing this about 25 years. And Arthur Moorhead is a co-host, and he's been doing this about 20 years. And I'm going to make sure that he's there. It looks like a few more people are showing up. So the homework that I was hoping you guys would do.
He's not going to come inside, is he?
Yeah, yes, he goes
Like
he
I'll
goes
have
right
to-
into the hall and he goes up the.
But not in here.
There we go. Amazing how much you have to go through to get that. I'm looking to see kind of a hard way to segue into this, but I think a lot of people are frustrated trying to figure out what's the first thing to address in their site. And meeting after meeting, we go in and tell you, okay, you need to do these things. And yet every once in a while, I like to stop and say, what should you address first? So who would like to answer that? What do you address first? What's always at the top of the list? Not how pretty the site is, not how big your images are. Anybody want to venture a guess? Bonnie, I had to mute everybody because there was a couple people that had stuff. Go ahead, I'll unmute you here. Oops, you moved on me. Okay, try that.
The main copy, the main text.
No.
No.
Michael, I'll have to unmute you. Go ahead. You got to unmute yourself there, Michael.
Yeah, I would think that the first thing that you need to pay attention to is the overall structure of the page. Google takes that into account when they're looking at it.
You're dancing around what I was looking for. Let's see if Dave has it. Can you hit the nail on the head here, Dave?
Well, I was going to say the call to action.
It's important, but that's not before you do any of that. I'll go one more. Robert, go ahead.
Domain name.
Say that again.
Domain name.
Well, after you get your domain name, because obviously you have your site up. So it's after that. Now, we call it in the industry performance, but what you want to know is functionality. Does everything function as it should before you start getting into, okay, well, I'm not in the search engine, I need to do this, I need that. Even before you are in the midst of completing your development, you should be looking at the functionality. Does everything work? Now that your site is up and you're going, yeah, I can get to all my pages. Now you got to go deeper into that functionality. Is it functional for mobile devices? And if you don't know, then you clearly, Google has made it very clear that if your site is not fast enough, they won't serve your search results to mobile devices. So why do you care about that? How many people know what the percentage of mobile device users are today? Bonnie, go ahead.
70%.
How much?
70% use the used mobile.
At least 70% of the searches done in Google are done on a mobile device. If you're not sure that your site is mobile friendly, which means they can get in and they can start interacting with your pages in less than 3 seconds. But that doesn't mean that you can go to your website and look on your phone and count 1001, 1002, 1003. Yep, it's loaded. That's not how you test it. Because you need to have never been to the page before, which means that's the typical user. So if you have been to your site before on your mobile device, it's cached in your browser. So it's already negated as far as how fast you see it. The biggest thing that you have to worry about is even before, well, do I have the right call to action? Do I have the right pages? Is my text, wait a second. Are the pages in your site mobile ready? Because if they're not, all your other work is just in vain. You're going to AI and creating these new pages to satisfy E.E.A.T, the new algorithm from Google, which is now about a year old, but it's still fairly new. The fact is, they're looking to make sure that you are worrying about the buyer's journey and having pages created for the buyer's journey, just as we've been talking about for the last couple of months. But if the mobile devices can't get in to see your nice new buyer's journey pages, then you're still dead in the water. Got to get those pages going faster. Now, who other than the developers knows how to test the speed on your site?
Well, it's complicated.
Pardon me, Bonnie?
I said, you always tell us what to do, but you go so fast, it's complicated.
Okay, everybody open a browser. I don't care what page you go to, you can go to your site, which would make sense. Go to any page in your website right now. And I'm going to add to that. Hopefully you've got Chrome installed, and if you don't, you could use Page Speed Insights to get there. Okay, so those two I'm going to put in the chat for you. Here is the link for Page Speed Insights if you do not have Chrome. If you have Chrome, go to any page in your website and then let me know that you're there. You're ready for the next step.
I'm ready.
Nobody? Anybody? Dave, are you using Chrome on and getting to your website?
Actually, I use Firefox more than Chrome because I
I do
don't like
too.
Chrome.
I
But
do
I
too.
run into all the, oh, you have to use Google to do this on the website. That is like
Then I leave. I leave.
not quite the answer you were looking for, but my story and I'm sticking with it. It's aggravating.
I can tell you the only reason that I use Chrome is so I can test with various browsers. So, but it's also got a much better, much more accurate results because it has incognito. Now you could use Firefox and go in through a secure window that way, but it doesn't have Lighthouse installed. And Lighthouse is the thing that you want to use. So let's see if you don't have Lighthouse or you don't have Chrome installed on your computer, use the Page Speed Insight. And that link is in chat. So click on that and then go to your website, copy whatever URL that you want, and then paste that into Page Speed Insights. For those who have Chrome, as much as Bonnie doesn't like me to go too fast, I'll try not to. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here and I'll watch here. Make sure that everybody, if you've got Chrome, great. If everybody has either Chrome or PageSpeed Index, thumbs up on everybody or no? Somebody not have what we need?
I lost my page. And now I see
Bonnie?
you.
What's that, Bonnie?
I can't see my page anymore. I only see yours.
Oh, go down to your taskbar and click on the blue button. Blue.
Oh, on the what button?
There should be a blue icon in your taskbar down.
Oh, no, there isn't. There.
Now, got it. You have Chrome open?
I'm all screwed up. I clicked the Zoom button. And now it wants me to sign in again. I can't get rid of the thing.
You don't need to sign in again in Zoom. You're already in there.
I know.
You're looking for your
Rid
Chrome
of it.
icon.
Oh, here we go. Okay,
All right. I'm going to share again. Making sure that everybody has got Chrome. And I'm sure you can all see Chrome here. So the first thing you want to do is up at the top right on the three dots that you see in Chrome, click on those three dots. Don't worry about all the gobbledygook that you see. Just trust me. Click on those three dots. And then the third one down says New Incognito Window. Click on that. Denise, are you lost? Hang on a second. There we go. But you need to unmute yourself, Denise.
Sorry, I am totally lost. I am computer illiterate. I admit that. And so I was hoping that this would give me some rudimentary things to be
This
able
is-
to check.
This is one of the things that is most important. Do you have Chrome open?
I told you I'm computer illiterate. Let me go back.
What do you use to browse the internet?
Chrome.
Okay, perfect. So up at the top right, do you see the
Three
three
dots.
black
Uh-huh.
dots? Click
Got
on
it.
that. Click on that. Then you see New Incognito Window.
Okay.
Click on that.
Click. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you're going to paste the URL from whatever website that you want to go to. So if you go back over to Chrome and said, well, I've got my website open, you can click in the address bar, copy that address that's up there. With me or no? Did I lose you
I
again?
am not with you. I'm just going to listen today. I am not with you at all.
Okay.
So, and I apologize. I don't want to hold us up.
Well, because this is a critical thing, and I think there's a couple other people who may be in the same situation. I'm not getting thumbs up from anybody other than, nope, even Kevin looks like he's a little behind. So if you copy the URL, that's the thing in the address bar.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in Chrome, are you at your own website?
I was. Give me a moment.
Okay.
I am now. Okay.
Okay. Up in the address bar, just click up there and highlight that, copy that address. Let me know when you have that copy.
Okay.
Okay. Then go back to your incognito window. And if you closed it, just open it again, like I showed you. And let me know when you have that.
Give me 1 second. New incognito window. That's Control-Shift-N.
We're not seeing your incognito window.
Okay. It's a little hat with some eyeglasses. Is that what I'm looking for?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So then I just paste it there.
And then you're going to click in the address bar
Mm-hmm.
and paste.
Okay.
What you copied. Once you've pasted it, you just hit the Enter key on your keyboard.
I did.
Okay. Now, you should see the same thing that you saw in Chrome. And the reason we're doing it incognito is because it gets a lot of the stuff out of the way and gives you a more accurate number, more accurate reading.
Okay.
The next thing you're going to do is right click on any place where there's nothing. And you'll get this load here. And at the bottom, it says inspect. Anybody not see this part?
I do not.
Sorry.
I do not.
Okay. Wherever your mouse
Inspect.
happens to be someplace, just right click and you'll see a list come up. You see where my mouse is right now, Denise?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Not a left click like you normally do. The right click. Just right click any place there. You'll see this menu come up.
Okay, I'm trying. You said anywhere, right?
Yep, right click anywhere.
Oh my God, help me somebody. I've just lost my website. I don't know where it went.
You want to share your screen?
If I want to embarrass myself, yeah, sure.
Oh, we could walk you through it probably easier. Excuse me.
I have no idea where where I went.
Let me ask you another question. Do you have somebody who develops your site, or do you usually take care of it?
Oh, I do not take care of anything. I used a very inexpensive company, one that's being widely advertised now. And pretty much you get what you pay for. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to visit my son who does this type of work in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to ask for his help. I don't feel so helpless with him.
Okay,
So,
and he'll walk you through it easier. We'll move forward with Chrome, and I'm going to
okay.
share mine. But you saw how you can open up everything. So for those of you who do have incognito open with a page, right click, and you'll see several options. And the last one in the list is inspect. Click on inspect. If you thought things were a little tricky before, wait until you see
Wow.
this part. Arthur, can you see the little window that popped up on the right side of my inspect window? Okay, so everybody then sees that if you click on these three buttons next to the X, or however your screen happens to be positioned, I think a lot of times it's up on the right side instead of being laid out on the bottom. Does everybody
you-
have their inspect laid out on the bottom or no?
Usually by default, it's set up the way you have yours.
I'm hoping so. I'm waiting for any response from anybody. Kevin, yours is on the bottom? Maria, is yours on the bottom? Let's see. Michael, go ahead.
Okay, I have 3 columns. I've got what you've got at the top
Mm-hmm.
is well, no, I guess I have 4 columns. I've got that in one column, then I have 2 other columns. And then I have on the left-hand side, the listing that shows what my performance, all that other stuff is.
Okay. Do you see these 3 buttons over here on this first bar right next to the X?
Okay, yeah.
Click on those 3 buttons and then select the third one that says dock to bottom.
It doesn't say dock, it says hide console, search, run command.
Just hold your mouse over the third icon where it says dock side, and then it shows you 4 pictures. You want the
Oh, I see.
third one over says dock to bottom,
Gotcha.
and then it appears just like my screen.
Yep, got it.
Okay, once you're there, now it's simple. You'll see lighthouse in this first bar.
Yeah.
Click on the word lighthouse. You want to make sure that, is everybody following with me? Anybody didn't get there? Maria? Evan, I got you. You're ready. Maria, you having a difficult time? Or are you good?
Yeah, still not there. Sorry.
Where are you?
I'm on the page
Mhm.
that has page speed insights, and it says home and docs.
Okay, so you're in the page speed insights instead of Lighthouse. So
Right.
using page speed insights, you're going to paste the URL for the page you want to test.
Okay.
Okay, everybody with me so far?
Okay. My
Maria,
page came up.
you're going to actually be ahead of us now because it's working a little bit differently, but it's still
Okay.
pretty accurate results.
Okay.
So anybody who's got Chrome and you've got the window open for inspect, and you've created or you've clicked on Lighthouse, and you see generate a Lighthouse report. You want navigation selected, mobile selected. You never care about desktop. And all 5 of these categories. You don't need the plugins. That'd be for developers. If those are already checked, the next thing you do is hit Analyze Page Load. And sit back and wait for your results. It always seems like it takes forever when you're waiting for it, but it's less than a minute. What'd you get, Kevin? Wait, I gotta unmute you there. Okay, now you can stop swearing and say what you were gonna say.
You know, if we could only get somebody who could work the controls.
I can't control your computer. I can
Oh,
mine.
my performance came up as 97, accessibility 98, best practices 100, SEO, which we know is not true SEO, is 100, and I know we're just concentrating on the performance, 97.
And that is true. But so you are there. And I'm going to skip to the bottom where people are immediately going to assume, oh, see, I got 100 in SEO. No, you do not. That has nothing to do with any part of the SEO except the technical side. That is saying you have the structure. And if you look at what it says right there, the structure data is valid. It doesn't say you've got your H1s in the right place. It doesn't mean that you have the right information in the H1 tag or any of the other tags or the meta tags in itself. It's just saying what basic parts for SEO are required in the code. They're there. Now, whether you've got a lick of SEO on the page or not, that's not what this test is about. You could have 0 SEO on your page and still get 100, as long as the structure is there. They're completely different things. So don't use Lighthouse to find out your SEO score, is what I'm getting to. You're using it to find the performance score. And if you look right below where it says performance, it shows you that if your score is 0 to 49, you're in the red. You definitely need help. And you're never going to get into the mobile search results with that kind of a score. 50 to 89 is yellow. If you're up around 89, there's a chance you might get into the mobile search results. But green is going to assure you that you'll get into the mobile search results. So you can dig deeper if you want to and go into, okay, so what's the problem? Where you see opportunities, it tells you, well, you need to fix that or you need to fix this. That's where you direct your developer and say, here's stuff that needs to be worked on because I only got a 50 or a 60 or whatever it was. But you as a site owner are looking for, what kind of performance am I getting? And if it's under 80, you really do need to do some work. So if you're looking at a 40 something, a 50 something, yes, your page needs a lot of work. Even in the 70s, you still got to get out of the 70s. So that is the most important thing before you move forward and say, I'm going to spend all this time and go in and make AI pages and edit them and put them in, because then I'm going to be at the top of search engines. Maybe for desktop, but not for mobile. And you don't want to get your site in a situation where you've done all that and you don't have any traffic. You're not going to get traffic because they can't get into the site. So if your pages are slow, fix them first. Then do your work on the buyer's journey, getting these questions answered, making sure that you're following along with E.E.A.T. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, my numbers were all pretty good, but I question, how do we know? Because I got a 99 for performance.
Mhm.
How do we know what is keeping me from getting 100?
Oh, let me show you that. It was on the screen that I'll share again here. If you look just below where it shows performance, scroll down just a little bit and you see the metrics. That's getting more specific. And for those who are not technical, it's just kind of, I don't know. Don't worry about it. But what you do want to know is opportunities. That's telling you, here's where your problems lie. And if you see 0.34 seconds, well, so that's not even a second in my site. If yours has 1.34 s, then it's 1.34 seconds that is taking time out of loading. So you would go then to, if it was JavaScript, you'd go to that first one and open it up, and it tells you, here's what's wrong. Here's what's causing that slowdown.
Why don't you pull up a site, a random site instead of yours, and show everyone, because because what you have there really isn't nothing wrong with your site, but if you pull up a random site and show all the red, then show them that way.
I'm trying to think of one. I think I'm going to pick on
Just pull
somebody.
anyone.
Uh,
Not many sites are going to have what yours has.
no, that's true. And my other site that I would show them would be the same.
Yeah, because your site's not WordPress. That's my main point.
Here, am I going to get in trouble for showing this?
This site's doing pretty good, really. That's all.
This is not the one that we're working on, but it's a WordPress site just like everybody else has. And we're going to go to White House and check it out.
I think he said he had a 99 on his.
97.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, is that your WordPress that you checked? I thought it was the other one. The new one that
that's
you're
good.
working
I
on.
mean, it's
Well, there you go. We can't check that one either because we've been working on that one, obviously. Who wants to just yell out a website?
Do mine, Bonnie Siegel Design.
Okay.
I got a lot wrong with my site. But Tom, I went from 45 to 70.
That's good. You're in the right direction. You got rid of that video on the homepage.
Yeah, I got rid of the video.
Okay, 69. So where do you start looking to find out what's wrong? Right here, she's got almost 2 seconds that she's lost just in unused JavaScript. And if you open that up, it'll show you all the different files. They're not being used. So why is it there? That's up to your developer to look at it and go, why is this stuff here if it's not being used because it's slowing down the load speed? You got another second and 1.08 seconds from blocking resources, and then it shows you what is blocking. In other words, what does the browser have to slow down to look and find whether it's of value or not? If the browser can just go in and look at everything and it's perfect the way everything is set up as it's supposed to be, images are the right size, the right weight, you don't have a bunch of unused scripts, then that's how you get that high performance. But when you have this stuff, and this is usually the result of whatever page builder is being used, in addition to images that have not been compressed, not sized properly. And we know that she's on a bad server, and she's got almost a second just because she's on a bad server. So remember, we need to have less than 3 seconds to fully load, and her speed index is 4.7. That's why she's getting a 69 performance rating. Kevin, go ahead.
You should have still looked at mine, because under opportunities, I've got some things that it wants me to optimize.
Well, that's your WordPress site. Are we going to work on that old one or work on the new one?
Well, I'm just saying that even though I've got a 97, there's still issues.
Oh, right. It was just easier to show a site that's in the 60s, and yeah, there's a lot of problems.
Okay.
And
Sometimes,
the weird thing about this particular page, I'm going to move this down for a second, is that if you look, there's no images on the page, except for these 3 down here. So there's not a lot going on the page. Reducing those to the size that they should be and making sure that they are optimized, that's one of the areas, but it wasn't even listed in the opportunities as those images are too big. I don't even see images listed there in opportunities. So this is all having to do with I already know that she's on Bluehost, so there's part of it right there. A bad server is going to slow you down. There's nothing that you can do about that except move to a different hosting company. Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question, because when I looked at the opportunities on mine, it indicated that some of my ping images should be AVIF or WebP, and I've never seen those as, how do you get to those?
WebP, you can
Yeah.
use most of the decent image editors these days. You can save a PNG as a WebP or a JPEG or whatever you want. So you want to try to use WebP as much as possible because that's the newest format. However, and this is something important for developers, don't take that for granted that the WebP is going to be lighter in weight. Just because it's the newest format, there are some times when you take an image that's not very big and try to convert it from, say, a JPEG to a PNG, and you compare them, and you can see that one is heavier than the other. And then try the WebP, compare all 3. Which one is the lightest in weight? Do you know what I'm talking about, Michael?
Oh, yeah,
So that
I'm with you on that.
when you're going to use whatever image, that is the lightest one I've got, and make sure that it's not sized larger than where it's being displayed. Because even if it's 20 pixels on each side, well, that's going to cause some slowing that you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to crop off 20 pixels on each side so it fits in that spot and it doesn't have to have the browser trying to scale it, then you're good to go. But if an image has to be scaled, and you will see that using Firefox, you can look at every image in every page. You can even save them. So you can go to any site and look at any of the media, but look at it and find out if your media, your images, are larger than the space where they are being displayed. If that's true, crop those hovers and then compress them. And I'll show you one thing here.
No way you could show me, because I don't understand how you can compress them. Is that the same thing as flattening the image, or is it something different? See, I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Then you have to leave the class.
There's there's a couple things you can do with WordPress that there's online tools that you can convert images to WebP. They're free to use. One's called ConvertShow, and all you do is upload the image and it'll convert your image to a WebP. And with WordPress, there's also a plugin called Imagify that you can use that will convert your images to WebP.
You just saw me compress an image. It was that fast. It's ready to download right now, and it saved me 38% of whatever weight that image had.
Can you do that again so I can write it down?
I'll put this is tinypng.com. I use it all the time because they are one of the few who also does WebP. Not all of them will. And there it is in chat, tinypng.com. And it literally takes seconds for one image. And when you click on download, it's either going to save it, which it did for me. It puts it in your computer downloads. It could also save it to the folder where you had open and pull it out of. It has its own decision, its own mind. But
Those tiny PNG, does it also convert it to WebP?
yeah.
Well,
Well,
it does.
Well, it doesn't convert. No, it's just going to compress.
Okay. Well, I believe with ConvertShow, it does both. It compresses and does the conversion. I mean, it's good, rather than have to go to compress them and then go to another one to convert them. I'm pretty sure that ConvertShow does both.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
Let's see which one okay, everybody sees this screen. So I'm going to choose a file.
And you can do it in bulk also.
Yeah, with Tiny, you can also do it in bulk.
Yeah, I think you have to pay for it. I got a subscription to ConvertShow, so I can upload 50 images and convert them all, and then download them as a zip file, and pretty quick.
Tiny PNG is free, and you can do it in packages. You can do it a lot of different ways.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure. I've used it before, but
it does everything except actually change it to a different format. I was trying to see if I can find the same picture, but it really doesn't make any difference, does it? Let's just grab this thing. Okay, so we're going to convert that.
You got to select it first. There you go. This thing converts documents, images. I mean, it's a great site. I use it all the time.
Oh, it's going to convert my image to WebP.
And it'll give you the size.
And there you go. You're ready to download. It's now 23 KB.
Yeah. Yeah. So it compresses it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that expensive. I think it's $12. I can't remember what I paid. It was like $59 for the year or something. I mean, for somebody like us, where we do it all the time.
Right.
But for an individual who's not doing 100 images, I mean, this thing works great. Yeah.
So there's a couple of different options for you. Tiny PNG. It doesn't convert the file. Or you've got Convertio, which does convert the file. There are a lot of options out there. I usually suggest the first thing to do is just do a search image compression, and you'll see Tiny. I don't see Converto in here.
Yeah, there's lots of them. Yeah. But I just use that one because it does it both. I mean, I was going to tiny PNG to compress it, then I'd take it to Converso. And then I found out that
You can do
there
both.
really isn't much of a difference. I mean, you can compress them and then convert them, but that's just one more step that you got to take. And if you have a website, I'm working on a website now that has over 6,000 images in it, and none of them are tagged. So there's no way that I can download them and convert them. And that's when I use that E.E.A.T plugin, and it'll compress and turn them all into WebPs. But of course there's a fee for that, but it just depends. If you got time to download 1,000 images and do them one at a time to convert them, then more power to you. But it's a lot easier just to grab the E.E.A.T plugin if you have WordPress and just do it that way, because it runs in the background. And then that way, if you upload a new image, it'll convert it and compress it as soon as you upload it. But it's still a good idea to resize them. That's important.
I was just going to show somebody a
Yeah.
site.
Yeah, post your tool file in the chat for everybody. You got a huge amount of information in there. I think it's going to help everybody.
Having tools is good, and you can go through these without having to worry about anything. No sales, no program that you need. It's just a raw text file. And it's in chat right now. So these are all kinds of tools that you can use. And I have to go back and think if I've got Convertio in there or not.
I think you do.
Almost positive. Tiny is in there. And I think you're right, Convertio might be in there. It seems to me I put it in there.
Yeah.
Page speed insights, Lighthouse, how to use it. And I don't get into a lot of the stuff about what you can do or the details, because I try to keep the tools in there simple enough. So I've said, this is for this is for that. If you want to dig deeper in it, you can, but I'm trying to get enough tools out to everybody that you have all the tools that you need. And it's important to have the right tools, just like today. It was important, even though people were struggling to get to Lighthouse. Like Bonnie said, there are many times that I've gone through and just shown people on my screen and they don't get it. So I wanted to go slow because that is extremely important. If you can't get people into your site, there's no point in doing anything else. So get the pages working properly first. Part of them working properly, if you come into those opportunities that say this image or that image has a problem, you need to address that or those images. So for Michael and anybody who's developing, I go a little bit further than I would for the novice, but you always want to make sure that whatever image that you are looking at is the smallest weight and the smallest dimensions that you can get away with, and it still displays properly. In order to see the weight, which means is it a 10 KB image or a 150 KB image? Your KBs are telling you that's heavy or not. Make the image in each format, JPEG, PNG, and WebP. Hold your mouse over it and see which one is the lightest. That's the one that you're going to use in your site. And for anybody who is thinking, yeah, but it's not going to look as good, you're wrong. Not only would I think that, well, maybe, no, you're just wrong. The internet, or I should say that differently, browsers are only capable of showing you rendering 72 DPI. So if the best quality that you can see in your browser is 72 dots per inch, why are you uploading a 300 DPI image? It will not display better. For those of you who are looking very confused, in the real world, when you have a 300 dpi image, that's a gorgeous picture. On the internet, browsers are not capable of showing that 300 dpi. They can only show up to 72. So if you upload a 300 dpi, it's a waste of your time. And it's a waste of speed on the page, wherever you're putting it. So get that down as light as possible. Guaranteed, you won't be able to tell the difference visually by looking at a PNG, a WebP, or a JPEG. You'll look at it and go, I can't tell a difference. That's why I'm not telling you to look at it and see if there's a difference. You look at the size and the weight of the image so that you know that when you put it into the page where you want that, it's going to be as light as possible. And for those who are thinking, well, my site gets so good grades because I don't have any images. This image that's behind me is what's in the background of my website. The image that's behind me is about the same size, literally, as the one in my website. So I'm using a gigantic picture, but I know what I'm doing, so I used what's called an SVG image. It's only code. And I think a lot of people are kind of going, huh? So I'll show you again. If you know what you're doing, you can get a huge image. This is the entire color in the background, and you can see it goes all the way to the bottom down to this other purple. Then that's something else. But from this line where the two colors change all the way to the top, that is one gigantic image. And yet this page loads at almost 97. Because what I did, and for developers who are here, blown up on SVG, the only thing that you need to worry about is security. So it depends on how the image is uploaded, that sort of thing. So if you're playing around with SVGs, make sure that your editor or something in your site is protecting it, because SVGs can be hacked. But for everybody else, what I'm saying is, if you've got a huge image and you do it right, the page still loads screaming fast. Or if you have a whole bunch of images, this one image, if you took it by itself, would outweigh, generally speaking, it'd be like, I don't know, maybe 20 megabytes. If it was SVG, or if it was a WebP or PNG or JPEG, something like that. It's that big. So it just really depends on what you do with the things and knowing what you know to be able to get the images compressed, get them resized, make sure that the page is loading fast, or you're losing them out on business.
Yeah, why don't you show them page speed insights, because
Okay.
there are a few here that weren't able to get to incognito.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty accurate. It's not as accurate as Lighthouse, but it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty close.
And since we already did mine in Lighthouse, and we know 97 or something, 90, 76, whatever it was.
I think yours was 100, wasn't it?
See, this is way off. It isn't. Well, I'll go back and do that. I will see. Did I still have that open? Here's a better one. So let's do that one. So you have comparison.
Well, the idea is you really have to do it more than once. You can't just test it one time. You know, you have to test it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always good to use more than one tool. You know, you could use Lighthouse, you can use page speed insights to get an average, because what one tells you, it could be using a different server than what the other is. So that's why you're seeing a difference of 88, or 83. I mean, try running it again and see what happens. I just wanted everyone to know where page speed insights is so they could still, find something if they can't use Lighthouse. I mean, and you can find other tools online too. Just Google website page speed, and there's all kinds of different websites out there you can test your page speed. But the most reliable ones are Page Speed Insights and Lighthouse, I believe. I prefer Lighthouse and Incognito because it's more accurate.
Which is part of the issue here, is showing an 82, and that's what I'm getting. I had a 97 or whatever it was, but the Garrison Body site also was like 82 or something, and it's got 92 on Page Speed Insights. So there is a difference depending on what you use. So be aware, even though Page Speed Insights may give you a lower score, if you're down in the 40s, well, there's no point in looking at Lighthouse. You already know that you need, in Page Speed Insights, you've got to hit it into the 80s in order to get some really good speed. I hope I'm saying that right for everybody. Google snippet to optimize ranking during a search. Okay, I gotta get you on the list here. Come talk to us, Maria. What is that you're referring to?
Hi. So I was looking at all of the rankings for my website, and when I got with my web developer, he mentioned that I have very few people going to my site for caregiving searches. And he said that's there is something called a Google snippet, which helps improve your rankings when someone does a particular search about your product or service. And I was just wondering how that relates to the SEO and if it's important, or should I focus on it or not?
Well, that has to do with schema markup, it's called, and that's basically code, and usually your SEO plugins that you use on your website will generate that. And there are basically templates that you could create to do certain things,
Right.
And is it a page ranking thing? No, it's not a page ranking thing. A lot of people think it is, but it isn't.
Okay.
However, you gotta, to understand Google, what it calls ranking and what it doesn't call ranking, doesn't mean that it doesn't help,
Right.
and it does. I mean, when you do a search, you see somebody pop at the top and they have
Right.
all the little snippets and stuff. They get that because that schema markup is what that's called.
Okay.
And you can do all the schema markup that you want on it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to put you at the top, because it's Google who decides who goes where, and what's more important is the content.
Okay. Thank you.
Speaking of which, we have really been pushing the last several months for people to understand the buyer's journey. So, Maria, I think you've been to a couple of our other meetings, right? So you're well aware of the fact that the pages that you need, that anybody needs in their site, need to follow the E.E.A.T algorithm from Google. And you can look that up right in Google and find out what that means. But basically, it's you're addressing the buyer's journey with your pages. If you have a page that's just saying, here's me and I'm the best at doing this, and I can make whatever that you want because I just do great work, that's never going to fly in Google. Not today. So what you're looking for is people are searching the internet, and you've done it. Everybody here has done it. They've searched something. They've gone to a site, did not have what they want. They went back to their results. and they searched again. That's because people don't put on their site what they need to have. They try to just get traffic to their site. So if you have, you're selling widgets, then you want to know, people want to know, what is a widget? So you need a page in your site, just one page, that's all about what is a widget. And then that links to the next page of the buyer's journey that says, here are certain types of widgets. So they're connected pages. It's described, here's exactly what a widget is. Now I'm going to give you some examples and tell you more information. And that's going to also have a call to action to buy now if you want. Not telling you in this script on this page that I'm going to sell it to you. Just here's a call to action if you want to go to that page. So you're linking through the text and you're linking with call to action. And then that third page is, you're ready to buy, here's what you're buying, and it tells you all the stuff. Those 3 pages are describing one topic. What was a widget? Here's a couple of different kinds of widgets. Now you're ready to buy that widget. You're covering all 3 of the bases for the buyer's journey. So any of the other pages you have in your site, if they don't follow that same criteria, then Google's going, I don't care. So make sure that your developers know the pages that you have need to follow the E.E.A.T, which in general is following the buyer's journey. Does that all make sense? So for you, Maria, don't necessarily need to argue with the developer because, yeah, okay, the snippets would be good, but what you need to concentrate on is creating new pages that are all part of this buyer's journey. And you can create a page in using AI. And I highly recommend that you do, because all of us who have our own websites, we know too much about our website. And we need to step out of ourselves in order to write the content that Google wants. So if you use AI and type in, what is a widget? It's going to spit out, well, here it is. And it'll give you a long, several paragraphs, but it spits it out in less than a second. So you can gather up that thing and read it, edit it, and put your own information in there, change some of the words so that it doesn't sound like it's just written by AI. But those are the kinds of pages Google's looking for. Performance, make sure they can get into the site. Buyer's journey pages. Those are the 2 most important things for your website. So getting into, well, do I have this part of the schema right? Wait, you're going too far. That's down the road. So the snippet, yes, it would help, but you need to work on the things that count.
Yeah.
Instead of the nitpicking things right now.
Yeah, the snippets help. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do schema markup on every site that I build. I make sure it's all, that it's all copacetic. I mean, that's part of on-site SEO, and that's what I come from old school, where a webmaster is the one who knows everything about building a website. And that includes on-site SEO, your schema markup, all that stuff. Whereas today, developers just throwing up a site, not taking that into consideration. But I mean, it's kind of like when you look at a form that you have to fill out, all the fields have to be filled in. If you miss one of those fields, then your form gets rejected. Okay, building the website is the same way. There's certain criteria that has to be done. And if you miss any of that criteria, whether it's because of inexperience or just laziness, then your site's not going to perform like it should. So I think it's a shame that's the way it is nowadays, but it is. You know, someone builds a website, they're gonna say, oh, you want on-site SEO? Well, that's extra. You know, or, you know, you want your pages optimized for SEO performance? Oh, well, that's extra. You know, I mean, you know, you have to make sure you know what you're getting.
And sometimes that's hard when you're trying to find a good developer.
Yeah.
How do you know whether your developer is telling you whether you need to do X, Y, or Z? That's why we keep pushing, here's what you need to do. So when you hear from your developer, yeah, but we need to, no, push them aside. It's your website. And we're telling you in the list of priorities what you need to do with your website. If the developer, somebody says, well, he said to do blah, blah, and we know that that's not wrong, we'll tell you. But generally speaking, like the Google snippet, like Arthur's saying, it's important, but don't get into that right now. You have so much stuff that's more important. Don't do that yet. And as Arthur was saying it, I thought, you know what? That's not a bad idea to come up with a list that would be like a form. So people know you need this and you need it in this order.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to have the content first before you start thinking about the markup. You know, and like I said, generally, for WordPress, your SEO plugins will handle a lot of that, you know, but you have to know how to configure those plugins to do it correctly. You know, and a lot of website builders, I've run across websites where none of the SEO plugins were configured. And there were so many things getting indexed in the search results, like tags shouldn't be indexed in the search results. You know, and sure enough, templates and things like that are getting indexed because they didn't set up that SEO plugin correctly. You know, so what he's telling you, Maria, is about markup. He is correct. You know, but it is not a page ranking factor. You know.
Any other questions before we go? Statements, confusion. If you're confused, talk to Kevin. Yes, the buyer's pain points. But you know what? That's a good way to get into AI and start looking at what are people searching for, whatever product or service that you have. I just did that for Bonnie the other day in AI. Did it help you, Bonnie?
What you sent me?
Pardon me?
What you say that question again?
I sent you a list from AI about
Yeah.
what people are searching to do with your business. Was that helpful?
Well, yeah, I knew all that already. I just changed it around. Apparently, and I sent you an email back saying that what did I say? Because I'm already tired. I'm not computing anymore.
That's okay. We can talk about it later. I'll go back in. But just in general, you can go to AI and you can ask it, what do people search for my business? And be more specific than that. And Maria, you could do the same thing. You know, what do people search when they're looking for my business? Deborah, you look like you're kind of hiding over there. You're making an awful lot of notes. Got to go, Michael? All right. Thanks, everybody. That's it for this week. Thanks for coming.